Okay, so one of the biggest problems I think people have when they drawing something complex, especially like something as complex as hands or the human figure for the matter, is not having a plan, right? Not drawing in a plan. I know sometimes you may see these artists are who've been doing it for a very long time. They might just go in and draw something very complex, but they have a lot of time and they still are drawing from a blueprint. They just have that blueprint so ingrained in their mind that they don't need a visible one, right? But while you still trying to get to that level, you want to draw out a blueprint for yourself, right? Just to like keep things organized, uh, and make sure things go where you want them to be. Because there's nothing worse than spending a lot of time on a drawing and having to go back and make a ton of changes or redo the whole thing because proportions are off or things are just out of whack, right? So you want to do a blueprint. It doesn't have to be super detailed, just something like this, just to make sure things are how you want them to be and where you want them to be before you go into any deep detail, right? Like just like a builder, like a construction worker, they want go build like some complex building without looking at blueprints. All right, and that's pretty much all it takes, right? So now we know where everything is going to be. We got all our fingers. Things look pretty good or where they're gonna be. At this point, at this stage, you just want to look over your blueprints and see if you want to make any changes to them. And then you can make changes like depending on the effect you want. If you want it to be um, realistic or push more to a extreme to emphasize certain things more than would be realistically, right? This is where you do that, right? So once you establish where everything you want everything to be, this is the point where you can go in and start rendering things and make it look, in this case, more like a hand. But whatever you're drawing, because you do the same thing for like the figure as well. This is a point where you'll probably see. Uh, this is a point where you will probably see artists where they post on social media and they like erase it deeply and then go back in uh, and draw it. And so all you see, but they'll erase it where you can barely see it, right? And they'll go back in and draw it, right? And they'll post this on social media. I don't really like to do this because it gives like artists, like people who are like inspiring to be artists, it gives them a false sense of what things are really like, right? They feel like they need to get to this level of being able to just draw and draw everything right the first time. So I think it's kind of good to show people the process of how you are getting to where you're getting, right? So they can understand, like, okay, this is a process. It's not gonna be, things are not gonna be perfect the first time I do them. But at this point is where you just go in and, you know, make things look how you want them to look. Add that detail, and now you don't have to really worry about uh, running into problems later on because something was off that you didn't check in the blueprint stage, right? You want to check all this stuff in that blueprint stage before you move to like this more detailed stage. Indicate these lines. And so, but you just keep rendering and go from there. But this, just remember, you know, when you doing these complex parts of the body or a complex pose or something, start off with a loose blueprint. Create yourself a blueprint so that you don't run into problems. The better your blueprint is in the beginning, the less problems you'll run into later on in your drawing. But that's all I have for you guys today. Um, I will catch you on the next one. As always, I'm glad to be in your service, and peace.